Happy Thursday evening, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Listen, there's no snow out in the desert, and the drivers of the NC811 Truck Limited Series right here on Turn 1 is ready to crank out some laps. Qualifying just coming to an end, and these drivers are getting ready to grid up here tonight in the desert. It's going to be a great show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Unreal support over on YouTube tonight. Appreciate everybody being there. The 87 fan club is deep in the chat tonight. As always, I did not expect anything less out of that group. I appreciate them being here. Let's run through the qualifying orders and get grid up. Before we do that, I have two announcements for you. One, Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right here on Turn 1. The Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series goes Daytona 500 Racing right here on Turn 1. It's going to be a great night. The duels were Monday night. Those races were a ton of fun to call. I expect Monday night for the 500 is going to be no less, so make sure you're here and ready to go. To be here, I need you to head on over to Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, wherever you are, do me a favor, scroll up, hit that profile, hit the icon, the Turn 1 icon, and then subscribe to the channel. 3 away from 200 here on YouTube, so we appreciate all the love and support, and hundreds over on Facebook. So you guys rock. Thanks so much for being here. Now, enough about me. We're about to go short tracking-ish out in the desert under the lights here with the NC811 Truck Series, and Lane Phillips going to start on the pole. Richard Swavely is going to start P2 here tonight. And then it's going to be Joe Hudson, Glenn Campbell, Mike Montesi, that top 5. Troy Haight, Robert Barber, Shannon Wood is going to start 8th. Vincent Short and Steve Ritter going to make up row number 5. Joey Jatina is going to start P11 tonight. Scott Formosa. By the way, Joey Jatina had one in the bag at Las Vegas. Can he go and get another victory here tonight? Well, we're going to find out in that 14 truck. Scott Formosa. Brian Wortman's going to start 13th. Alan Wild, Brandon Garan's going to start 15th here this evening. Then it's, who is that? That is Johnny Barker. Cody DeForge, R.B. Turner starting 18th. Kevin Stone, Ron Millum is going to start in that next row there for that 20th place position. Then it's John Fowler, John Higman Jr., Dustin Coggin is going to start 22nd. Ron Holyfield, they're all coming off pit road, ready to go. Reba Caton is going to start 24th. Alan Marshall, 26th. Ron Holyfield, 25th. Doug Sigmund, fan favorite in that 87, and Robert Chappell is going to start 28th tonight. DeAndre Kane, Joshua Barr, James Smith, Mark Schrader, Eli Raposa, Gerald Livingston, and Robert Van Nest make up this 35 truck field as we get ready to go racing tonight here at Phoenix. It's going to be a good time. I hope you're ready for it. It has been an interesting week for a lot of people, but it is all about race time. Green flag in the desert. The NC811 Limited Series is rolling here at Phoenix. Phillips out front, free and clear, no pressure. It's going to be Lane first. Joe Hudson, Richard Swavely just behind him, second and third. They get single files. They come down this backstretch. Glenn Campbell, Mike Montesi. Montesi in that bright Kodak-y color looking number 4 there tonight, sitting just inside Glenn Campbell. Then he's got Robert Barber, Vincent Short behind him. And then it's a little bit of chaos back there as they go through that dog leg. We will talk about that at length here tonight. Multitude of different lanes are going to be ran by these drivers down this, really this front stretch that used to be the backstretch here at Phoenix. Yeah, it's a little confusing sometimes. But either way, right there across the start finish line, you see Phillips head about halfway down on the flat. No out of bounds here tonight for these drivers. They can dip down there anytime they want and maybe want a little bit of corner off speed and straighten up the angle. Other drivers may go a little bit higher. Either way, you're going to see a bunch of drivers down there, down on the apron of that racetrack, using up as much as they possibly can as they come across the start finish line. Last time by, Lane Phillips ran a fastest lap of the night at 27:32. Joe Hudson P2. Glenn Campbell swinging it out wide, going off into one there. That 44 truck looking pretty snazzy under the lights here. Hoping to hang on to a top 5. He's up a spot already this evening. Richard Swavely, Mike Montesi round out. Then, again, a little bit of chaos back here. That's Joey Gentina. We talked about him there just a moment ago. That 14 truck just absolutely had him covered at Vegas and had some connection issues last Thursday night. If you didn't get a chance to watch that race, head on over to YouTube and give that a good video a watch there. That one was a replay we called on Saturday. It was posted, so go check that out. Unfortunately, Gentina having some issues with connection, I believe, was the cause of the disconnect, cause of the problems he had. Ultimately, I was told that he had AT&T at the house, fixing that immediately. So Joey Gentina hoping to stay connected. Oh, it's going to get real tight. That truck slides up there. That's Gentina and Vincent Short going at it here early, working through the corner. And then Steve Ritter right behind him. Troy Haight, man, this is a driver I have been talking about quite a bit up and down the running order in the last couple weeks in this NC811 truck series. And, man, they have been making it. He's been all over the place, just making moves happen. We saw him back and forth quite a bit at Vegas, and tonight here running just inside the top 10 in that 9th place. And then Scott Formosa back there, hanging out in that 10th place position. Shannon Wood, Brandon Grant, John Higman, Cody DeForge, Robert Barber, your top 15. Looking a little further back, things are starting to spread out. That is Dustin Goggins there. And that's Ron Millum. Also alongside, you see those two really split out. Goggins going all the way deep down to the bottom. Sorry, Coggin there going all the way down to the bottom there. And coming back up. Plenty of room down that front stretch, but where things get tight is for these drivers when they come get ready to enter into turn 1. And oftentimes you can find each other maybe beating and banging there a little bit unintentionally, just not having a good understanding of where the driver is on the outside. That driver, the 47, free and clear right now, up 4 spots, running 20th. Going back through the field, it's Alan Marshall. Ron Millum continue to battle it out. That's Marshall there in that 91 rather. Allied truck. John Fowler just behind him, beating the door down. RB Turner, another fast driver in this limited series here right now. Running 24th, James Smith, Robert Chappell. They're side by side back here running for 23rd. So it is certainly spicy up and down the running order so far here tonight. Back out front though, Lane Phillips continues to lead out front 0.6 of a second over Joe Hudson. Phillips showing up and showing out here. Started on the pole and already working lap 11 here and out front, making it look pretty easy. It's going to be all about maintaining the truck long term here tonight. These drivers often we see after a longer green flag run, that turn 2 really be tricky for some of these drivers to work through. So that'll be something we pay close attention to here this evening. Richard Swavely is going to get clear of Glenn Campbell. He's going to move up back into that 3rd place position, and Mike Montesi is also going to lose a spot there to Campbell. Montesi started in that 5th place position and was able to quickly work by Richard Swavely and Glenn Campbell, but Montesi now sliding back, and all of a sudden Vincent Short is going to start looking a lane underneath here to make a move. You see Short running right down there low. The advantage is all more driver preference. You don't see a bunch of folks picking up a ton of time. Some drivers, depending on how you drive or the style you take, that may be more disruptive to the truck. It may unsettle the car on the track, and other drivers don't feel that way, and you see many people electing to take it down there. So either way, you're going to see a varying strategy here tonight. Things have smoothed out here in the top 10. Again, as we were talking about, tires will be a factor here after about 20-25 laps, and especially coming off of turn number 2. That's a turn, and you have a tendency to overdrive exit At times, the truck will break loose and almost perform exactly what we just saw there out of the 83 of Robert Barber. That truck kicked hard to the left. He took it nearly into the inside wall there to save it, coming down the straightaway, and that's not uncommon here at Phoenix. Well, these drivers really have got to be mindful of that right rear. It will come out and bite you right here on this corner exit where that wall comes up mighty quick here at Phoenix. Looking through the field, again, mostly single-filed out here. Let's take a moment and there's this battle happening right here. This is all about through 10th through 15th, 10th through 18th or so, all happening right here in front of Alan Wild in the 07 truck. Down a couple spots on the starting position, but let's ride on board with Alan Wild for a lap or two here around Phoenix. Working lap 19 of 110 here tonight in Vegas for the NC811 Limited Series on Turn 1. Got a lot of folks in the chat here. The 87 fans out in force. We also got some Team Short support over on YouTube. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it. And if you're not a Short or a Chapel fan, who are you rooting for here tonight? I certainly hope we've got some other fans in here as well as the 87 crew. I tell you what, man, they show up each and every week. Robert Chapel has about the biggest biggest cheerleading squad I have had ever in my broadcasting history, and I'm here for it. Speaking of Mr. Chapel, little 87 update, running back there around 25th. He's actually up a couple spots here from the qualifying effort, starting to make his way forward there. Then that number 87 will keep close tabs on him. Looking back through the field here again, Lane Phillips out front, just really got the truck on cruise control. 0.7 of a second out front so far, and just cruising. This truck has looked rock solid here for the first 20 or so laps. Again, started on the pole, an impressive speed, and then each and every lap. Really, I don't feel like the driver of the 20 here is pushing the issue too much. Lap times have been very consistent. A couple times here, Lane Phillips and second place Joe Hudson have been running equal lap times. So that just shows you, just pacing it just right. Coming across the stripe there, that was a 28.37 to a 28.38. And again, tires are starting to play a factor. I called it 20 laps in, and we're going to see some tire wear. Now these tires are starting about a second slower a lap than they were when they were new. So tire wear going to start to ever become an ever stronger factor here. We should see pit stops, I would say, around lap 50 out of this crew. So not too distant future. And right now, it's been pretty clean and green all up and down the racetrack here at Phoenix. And I don't know. I don't suspect that would change too much here. As I say that, Vincent Short takes it to the inside of Mike Montesi, and man, Short has been working his way forward, up 3 spots on the night, sitting in 6th place, and really just all over the back bumper of Montesi here. Montesi has settled. He's been in that 5th place spot now after advancing forward a couple spots. Has been hanging out right there in that 5th place position. But Vincent Short is all over the rear view, especially, or all over the rear view mirror, especially right off turn 2 there, a lap or 2 ago. Looking through the racetrack here, not too many battles happening. Most everybody's single filed out. This is about the middle of the run where, again, those tires are fairly consistent. They obviously don't have anywhere near the grip they did, but everybody now starting to realize, hey, this is what I got. It looks like we're gonna have a longer green flag run. I need to take care of it. And speaking of Lane Phillips, he's taking care of this lead really well. That driver of the 20 out front, 1.2 seconds over Hudson. So no pressure there. As a matter of fact, he actually could be catching some lap traffic here in the next 20 laps or so if this pace keeps up. We could see him running into some lap traffic prior to the pit stops. This is the type of racing you get here with the NC811 Limited Series, presented proudly by Sim 500. And what's unique about this group, you keep hearing me say limited, right? Well, that's because the I rating for this group is limited to 3,000 I rating. And so what that does is that really tightens up the talent and field quite a bit. Obviously, you're not going to see in this series the David Schildhauses or the Justin Fullers, those types of guys. We haven't seen Tyler Dalton in here. Some of these folks that we see consistently racing on Monday nights, as we got a couple trucks into the wall there, you're not going to see them in this series. And drivers that we talk about fairly often, but maybe a little bit more in that top 10 range, are running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here. And this racing has been, it has been mighty impressive with just how consistent and how clean these guys are. A full 35 truck field here tonight, so they are certainly packing them in and bringing the heat every week. If you're interested in racing with Sim 500, keep in mind the Limited Series is not the only series they have going on. They have special events. They also have a ton of other leagues. I think they race 4 nights or 5 nights a week. All sorts of different options and different car combos and schedules. Head on over to sim500.com. Take a look at the website. Get registered if you're interested. And tell them Turn 1 sent you. RB Turner sends it into the corner there out of 3 and 4 to get underneath. Alan Marshall makes it stick. RB Turner on his way forward here after not what I would say his best qualifying effort. Actually qualified right there, I believe that 18th place position, and then lost some spots here tonight. Working his way back forward, running 19th right now, is again trying to get clear of Alan Marshall now and starting to set sail out front for John Fowler. Again, not missing a whole lot out front. As a matter of fact, Lane Phillips is, and that lead is starting to vary just a little bit. We see Joe Hudson bring it down to 1.1 at times here, like right now, 1.1 seconds, but we've also seen it grow as high as 1.3. So Phillips out front comfortably right now as we are past halfway into this first fuel run for these drivers, and we're going to start to see the comers and goers of the track, and start to see folks as it looks like Vincent Short may have got into the wall a little bit there out of 2. We're going to start to see folks who have taken care of their tires and others who may have not have, and they're going to start sliding back. And others are going to start to work their way through the field, so we're going to pay close attention to that. This heat, this battle right here with that 6th place, that 5th place position, all happening right here in front of the 14. That's Vincent Short and the 4, Mike Montesi. They've been going at it off and on here for the last 15 laps or so. And Short is, he is certainly on the hot a little bit. Last time by 2 100ths faster than Montesi, so that's not earth-shattering. Let's look at it here. Yeah, actually 2 100ths slower. So Short all over the back of the 4, but you can get to somebody, but being able to get by them is a different conversation. And right now, Vincent Short is having a rough go of it here in that 6th place position. Another name we've not talked about a whole lot here this evening, other than just talking about where he's running at the time. That is Steve Ritter. He's up 2 spots, started in 10th. He's up in 8th right now, just cruising. Another consistently quick driver that we talk about fairly often with this series. And right now, currently running 8th. And this is a Steve Ritter run. Green flag, real consistent. Lap times, not the fastest, but no means not the slowest. And just out there putting down laps. And this is the type of race I've seen Ritter do really well at. And I suspect if it stays green like this, we could see that 61 truck stay up in the top 10 all night long. Back behind him, though, that's Scott Formosa and Brandon Garand battling it side by side there. This is for 10th, or sorry, this is for 9th, rather. As Formosa's going to squeeze by on the outside a little bit here, hoping to make this pass. As they spread way out, going through that tri-oval there. And then you see they come back on track, and really not a ton of effort to be gained there. The one of Garand on the bottom. He's actually running down on a flat coming out of 2. That's going to make that truck a little tight. Then he's going to have to steer it down for Formosa, who was up there. And guess what? That is going to let the that 80 truck get by and pick that spot up. That was perfect timing for Formosa to strike there. Garand was down on the apron, and that truck was going to slide up. He's going to lose a little bit of track position there through the dog leg, and now all of a sudden Scott Formosa up into that 9th place position here. As, man, we are working, coming up on lap 40 already here in Phoenix. Yeah, the Team Short looking fast. It's got to be Vincent Short. He is. He's looking quick. He's looking hungry here for it tonight. You know, he reminds me of what Ryan Preece and a couple other drivers at the Dash, or whatever they're called, the Clash. There you go. Last night at Bowman Gray. If you watched that on TV, that was an interesting race. But some of these drivers, including Vincent Short, he's going to dive it down to the inside of Montesi here. He may have a run, but yeah, he's just aggressive. You got to strike when you can get it. Short now's going to be on the inside, and he's not going to give that bottom up. Montesi's going to be on the outside. Short's going to have the advantage through quarter exit, but Montesi's going to have the RPM, and now that is actually going to put that 05 right there on the bumper of the 14 of Joey Jatina. He has been watching this out the windshield for the last, 20 laps materialize. And he's looking to try to take advantage of who's going to do what here. I would not be surprised if we see that 14 follow the door that gets open here for that top 5 position. Out front, Lane Phillips now continues to hold a 1.2 second lead over Joe Hudson. I would expect to see pit stops here in the next 10 laps or so out of these guys. That'll put them really close to halfway, 110 laps here tonight at Phoenix, and they're going to click off relatively quickly. And tires are certainly going to be a factor. Obviously, after that initial fall off, the time starts to stabilize a little bit, but keep in mind our leader last time by ran a 28:02, and his fastest lap was a 21:30 or 27:32. So about a second and a half slower on those new tires. We could see drivers dip down and pit early, maybe gamble a little bit to take those Goodyears and get some lap time out of it. That would be a move that I think we could see. Somebody like, somebody like RB Turner right there running in that 20th place position, or Cody DeForge. He's a quick driver up there in that 17th spot. Maybe he wants to take advantage of those tires. I could also see Steve Ritter, could see Jatina taking that move. Joe Hudson could really benefit from that move as well. So we'll follow that closely here as, again, approaching pit stops tonight for the first time for the NC811 Limited Series here on Turn 1. Looks like Mike Montesi able to squeeze by Glenn Campbell again. He's going to move up into that 4th place position and be a little more secure right now. Is actually starting to drive away from Campbell and up on the bumper of that Tundra. The 32 truck of Richard Swavely running 3rd right now. As these drivers continue to work around Phoenix here, Scott Formosa, Brandon Garand. That's a side-by-side battle. Formosa still trying to get it figured out. You see that truck really push out wide. He was tight on quarter entry there, maybe carried a little too much speed. And now he's going to have a truck on the inside corner. That was Garand, but they get it sorted out. Formosa out front there in that 10th place position. Garand wants back into that top 10. Robert Barber has started to move himself back forward here. He qualified up in 7th place, but has fell back a little bit, now back up to the 9th place position. Looking through the field here. Just because we have so many of his supporters. Oh, things are going to get a little tight. Hold on a second. That's James Smith. Ron Holyfield's right here. That's Alan Marshall leading this pack, and this is a 5-truck run here. This is 23rd through 27th or so. All side by side as they work out of 4. And then you're going to see some of them break off. Ooh, near contact there. That was, I believe that was James Smith. Nearly making contact, and Marshall's going to fall back quite a bit. I think he had to lift to avoid making contact there. Wanted to keep it in one piece and wasn't going to press the issue. The 64 now going to lock up that 23rd place position. Here comes Livingston behind him. And then it's Mark Schrader, Alan Marshall, Johnny Barker, Ron Holyfield. And then we'll do an 87 check-in. Robert Chappell right now running 29th. Not probably the night the 87's looking to have, but it is still very early here, riding around in the top 20 so far here at Phoenix. Joey Chatina has found himself on the inside of Vincent Short, working out of turn 2, and this is where those passes have really started to materialize for this field here tonight. And Chatina's going to move down there to try to take advantage of it. Right down to the bottom, he's going to have that truck out by a nose as they work the middle of the corner. Chatina actually holds that truck up there quite a bit through the dog leg, does not let Vincent Short get down there. And Joey Chatina, we talked about that pit strategy. He just took a hard left, and he is going to come down pit road early. And the first driver of the top 10 is going to come down here on working lap number 52. And he is going to, he's going to bring Robert Barber with him. And those green flag pit stops kicking off here. And this is the move I was talking about. Who was going to come down, maybe short pit a couple laps? Well, we got our answer. It's going to be the 14 and the 83 coming to the attention of their crew for the first time tonight at Phoenix. Meanwhile, Lane Phillips out front, man. Strong run for this driver. 9/10 of a second over Joe Hudson. I would not be shocked to see Phillips now start to understand where things are going to land, and he can't afford to stay out there too long and expect to be able to maintain this lead, but not going to come down pit road. He's going to continue to let it rip down the backstretch here, but it looks like Mike Montesi in the 4 is going to hit pit road. That'll also bring down Brandon Garand's going to join him. Scott Formosa will also come down pit road for what will be the first pit stops of the night for those drivers, as we are working past halfway, or closing in on past halfway here tonight. On turn 1 for the NC811 Truck Series, and we've got a caution out of the racetrack, and Hudson dips out off of pit road in the nick of time, and I believe this may involve Robert Barber. Remember, keep in mind, he came down pit road. What happened to Barber here? Let's take a look. What an interesting place to lose it right there. off of turn 4 on those new tires. And Barber spins it around, and that's going to bring the first caution of the night out. And Lane Phillips is going to get caught up with the pace car here. This shakes up quite a bit of dynamic. Now, that being said, this plays perfectly to the hand of Joey Jatina and a couple others, I do believe, because they're going to gain their laps back. And I don't know how this is going to work out from a track position standpoint. We're going to find out. Everybody down pit road for stops here for the first time. Under caution for the first time at Phoenix. You're watching Turn 1. Pace car's going to head back down pit road, and we get ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Phoenix. First caution of the night wrapped up, and pit stops complete. New tires on these trucks. What is that going to feel like for some of these drivers? Well, we're about to find out. Phillips, Swavely, Campbell, Ritter, Vincent Short, the top 5, and the green flag back out underway here at Phoenix. Down to the very bottom they go. Everybody looking for a little bit of drive off the corner. Phillips out front, single file, Swavely on the hunt. He's going to have to go early here after it if he wants an opportunity to race for that lead. Short and who is that? That is Troy Haight there on the bottom of Alan Wild. And Haight working his way back up into that 6th place position, as they're all fanning out there across the dog leg. Right before that caution came out, I was talking about, well, we have crossed the halfway point here tonight for the NC811 Limited Series on Turn 1. We got trucks in the wall coming out on 2. I appreciate you guys being here. And, man, it's so good to be live on a Thursday night where, you know, we got some good racing action all over the racetrack, and we're indoors and warm. At least I hope you're warm, because, man, it has been brutal up and down the East Coast this week and the last 2 weeks, as they're 3 wide coming through the corner. Hey, and guess who that is? That was the 87 in the middle of that. And, man, they are getting sporty back here. And keep in mind, this is for that 17th place position or so. Coggin, along with Robert Chappell, it was getting spicy back here. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. So Mike Montesi, I show him 18th right now. He was running in the top 5 pretty much all night long. Another driver, Joey Jatina, in that 14, probably not very happy in the helmet of that driver here this evening. He was running up in the top 10, was actually starting to drive his way forward. That pit stop happening, and he had the idea to short pit just a little bit, and then the caution came out. So that's unfortunate for Gentina, because now he's going to have to use those tires pretty aggressively to work himself through the field, and right now sitting 22nd after that caution. Back up front here, really nothing changed except second and third. Glenn Campbell able to get around Richard Swavely. This looks like it's the Lane Phillips show here tonight at Phoenix. Out front, and that white Chevrolet just got that truck on cruise control, literally. Just got the autopilot on. Turning laps here in the desert under the lights and making it look fairly easy. Speaking of, Ritter's going to drive down underneath Haight in 3 and 4, and now he's going to have prime position right there to come across the stripe. Off into 1 and 2 here. And right here is where these drivers really want that drive off. They want that grip coming off of 2 to be able to accelerate down this backstretch, because it is so hard to gain an advantage down this front stretch. Obviously, again, you have some of these drivers using the dog leg all the way deep down there on the inside, but that's more for, I won't call it a mental thing, because there are certainly some advantages to some drivers, but it is driver specific as to how far you go down there and what the benefits are for you. Action still just flying around back here. This is Coggin, Holyfield, Phillum, Alan Marshall's back here, Mike Montesi, man. We need to pay top attention here to that 4 truck. I expect to see him moving forward. Oh, the caution's out. Oh, we've got Vincent Short and other trucks wrecking in front of him. What in? We've got a big accident down the front stretch. Or, sorry, down the back stretch. That's Mike Montesi involved. And a bunch of others as the track got full. And that's going to bring the caution out. And that's going to be a lot of quick drivers involved here. Let's take a look. Coming off of 2, that's Vincent Short. Who hooked it? It looks like Vincent was caught up with somebody, and then a truck blocking the track, nowhere to go for the rest of these guys. Let's ride on board with the 14 as he come out of turn 2 here. Sees him wrecking, and then, it's just the gap closes up right in front of him, and then guys get into him from behind. Nowhere you could really go, and that is heartbreaking for some of those fast drivers back there, and under caution for the second time due to an incident. Let's take one more look here. I know this was Vincent Short, but yeah, Vincent turns in there underneath the 61 of Ritter, and then either Ritter turns down to the left there, or Short tries to come up and clear himself. Wasn't clear, and then that just starts the chain effect out past it, and really nowhere, especially with these barriers. And that track's relatively narrow back there on the backstretch. Going to cause a little bit of a blockage there here at Phoenix. Under caution for only the second time here tonight. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Pace car back down pit road. We get ready to go back. Green flag racing here. Going to do it around lap 71, so only about 40 to go. Lane Phillips, Glenn Campbell. Phillips has got to have a strong restart here. Green flag back out. Oh, big jump on Phillips. As Richard Swavely's actually going to take a deep advantage of this here, right down to the bottom. He's going to pick up that second place position. We got trucks wrecking in the back. Wow. Big incident back here once again. Let's see if we can find out what happened. This has all happened on the restart. That was the first caution. Let's take a look this way. Right around RB Turner, it looks like. No, it happened in front of RB Turner. That's Barber upside down, and then the 64 there, Vincent Short involved. That was James Smith. Let's just hit the old rewind here so we can get a good idea of what happened. Coming to the restart here. Smith down on the bottom, Barber on the outside. Barber just comes down, wasn't clear, collects Smith. Smith goes sideways, and then another truck getting collected there, and really mayhem after that. And cautions breeding cautions here tonight for the third one to come out at Phoenix. Lane Phillips was out on a roll on that restart. I expected to see him gone like a rocket ship there if that caution would not have come out. Either way, right now he's going to continue to lead. Swavely P2, Glenn Campbell, Steve Ritter, Troy Haight, your top five. Brian Wortman is fallen up to moved up to 6th after this caution sequence. Kevin Stone, he's up 13 spots, running 7th right now, leveraging that pitch strategy a little while ago, falling in his favor. Mike Montesi somehow is up to 8th place. We will have to explore how that occurred here, because that is impressive out of Montesi in that 4 truck. Shannon Wood, Brandon Garand is in the top 10. Ron Holyfield, Eli Raposa, Robert Chappell, another driver taking deep advantage of the pit sequence and the cautions here. Chappell sitting right now 13th. Cody DeForge, Alan Wild, Joe Hudson sitting 16th. Remember, Hudson was up there running 2nd place for many laps here and up in the top 5, now falling all the way back to 16th. John Fowler, Mark Schrader. Mark Schrader is up 15 spots on the night, running 18th right now. Alan Marshall and Scott Formosa, really the only other truck on the track at the moment. And Joey Jatina, Dustin Coggin, Vincent Short, Ron Millam, they're all going to exit pit road. They came down what I imagine would be to take their second set of tires, but I'd have to double check that. Well, actually, let's double check that. Actually, it looks like that group of drivers, including Jatina, were in the box for repairs. So a lot of drivers in there, plus 1 minute, trying to get some of those optionals sorted out. Let's see if they can pick up a little bit of speed here in the late laps. Pace car lights are off. They're going to head down this backstretch pit road entrance. Lane Phillips, Richard Swavely out front. Glenn Campbell, Steve Ritter, your top 5. Top 4 rather. Then it's Brian Wortman and Troy Haight. Wortman, what a run here for the 74 of Wortman. I know Brian's excited about this. Strategies and cautions really mixing up the field here with the limited series. Think about green flag racing on lap number 75. Another very strong restart out of Phillips. He gets it rolling here. Campbell and Swavely single filed out, but then back behind them, that's Troy Haight, Steve Ritter. They're also going to get it sorted out. Wortman's got a little bit of pressure. That's Kevin Stone. Stone in the 17 right underneath Brian Wortman, looking to pick up that 6th place position. Add another one to the tally for the 17 truck. And then here comes Mike Montesi in the 4. Mike is passing trucks on and off the racetrack here tonight. Moved himself back up to 7th. Now he's going to pressure Stone here for that 6th place position. right down to the very bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4. And another caution out on the racetrack, looking for what could be going on. I don't see anything. I see Joe Hudson down on the apron. That's probably never a good thing. Let's see if we could suss out what may have happened back here. No, that is never a good thing. And that was Joey Jattina making contact with the 23. 23 is going to take a loop right there across the start-finish line. That's going to bring the caution out. And again, a lot of fast drivers back here towards the rear of the field, places I don't suspect they wanted to be in or have the equipment to be in. So it makes it a little hard to drive these trucks slower when you were so much faster at times. And, well, we got some fast folks towards the rear of the field right now, contending with some damage, some traffic here at Phoenix. We're going to come back. Green flag racing with about 30 to go. We'll grab a drink, grab a snack. Come back and get ready to cheer on this NC811 Truck Series right here on Turn 1. Getting ready to get back. Green flag racing here. Lane Phillips. It has been the Lane Phillips show out front all night here tonight. He qualified on the pole and has led pretty much all the laps, all but maybe one or two here through the pit sequence. But either way, he's going to see the green flag. Another strong jump out of Phillips. Swavely, Campbell, side by side through the dog leg. Swavely's going to grab that spot there, that second place position. Campbell sitting third. Troy Hayden, another caution out. Looking through the field, and it looks like Araba Caton had the 30 truck spun around here. It also looks like Ron Miller may have been involved a little bit. Oh, yeah, and then Joe Hudson also got tagged in this, and then the 91, just a bunch of trucks sitting it in there pretty deep. And yeah, I would say some patience has been lost here tonight in Phoenix for this limited group. Some folks towards the rear of the field just having a tough go of it, but the laps continue to wind down, and Lane Phillips out front doesn't mind hanging out behind this pace car, because that just means he gets to lead some more laps. Ron Holyfield's going to come down pit road to the attention of his crew. And like I mentioned, we'll go back green flag racing here with about 25 to go. Racing to lap 110 for Phoenix here tonight, the NC811 Limited Series on Turn 1. A quick programming note, next Monday night, I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, we will be live from Daytona for the for the Sim 500, Daytona 500 next Monday night. Ran the duels here just a few nights ago on Monday evening and had a great race, a set of 2 races rather. Tyler Dalton, Mark Jorgensen on the front row, and then had some really exciting dual races right after that. And then those drivers will run it off on Monday night right here on Turn 1. Make sure you get connected with us. You're not going to want to miss a lap of that racing action. And then next Thursday night, we continue back live here, the NC811 Limited Series. So looking forward to having everybody with us. Pace car heading back down pit road. Phillips and Swavely out front. Troy Hay, Glenn Campbell, Steve Ritter. Top 5. Another restart here, another opportunity. Can Richard Swavely figure something out here on the restart? So far, nobody has had anything for Lane Phillips tonight. These restarts have really been firmly in his control. He's picked the bottom. Does anybody have anything here for that driver? We're going to find out. Green flag back out. Yep, that outside line just looks to be at a disadvantage on these restarts as we see 2 and 3 wide racing back here. 3 by 3, it's going to get tight. Oh, some bumper cars in the middle. There's the 87. And then Joey Chatina right with him. Off the corner, and the 87 goes around. That's going to collect. Alan Marshall, Jatina's going to have damage. The 87 is going to get it spun back, but that's going to bring another caution out. All off of turn 2 there. We've talked about what that turn can do to some of these drivers. And you can make 3 wide work here, but you got to be quick with it and be careful with it. Looks like somebody got into the wall. Somebody else checked up, and then, yep, the rest was history there as it gets pretty tight back there on that back stretch. So let's talk about this pit strategy. Obviously, we had that pit cycle start around lap, I think it was, we'll call it 53, 54. We had some drivers come down pit road and kick that off, and then we saw the first caution of the night around lap 56 or so. So that really put a disadvantage to those that came down pit road. Well, now this is all working out for everybody. We won't see drivers back down pit road for tires. They won't need fuel either. These caution laps are going to get everybody plenty to the good from a fuel perspective. So everybody's going to stay out here, especially if you're running in the top 10. No point in coming down pit road and jeopardizing track position. This race here tonight. And Phoenix as a whole is one of those tracks that is very sensitive to change. Or not change, I'm sorry, sensitive to driver. And specifically drivers. So it's one of those tracks that's, I would call it equivalent to Darlington. Even Pocono at times. It is a driver's track. It is not a cookie cutter by any stretch of the imagination. The angles of the quarter exit and things like that are wildly different across the board. And yeah, it is a significant it takes a level of skill here. You either have it or you don't. And we're seeing tonight, Lane Phillips has got it sorted out up front. And Glenn Campbell, Richard Swavely, these guys have been floating around the top five all night. Steve Ritter, there's Troy Hayes as well. Mike Matessi's been up there, but nobody has been able to challenge the 20 truck so far this evening. They're going to see the green flag come out with 21 to go. The pace truck behind, or the pace car lights are off. That means they're going to make that left-hand turn right here at the pit road entrance down the backstretch. This outside line, led by Glenn Campbell here, has been at a huge disadvantage for these restarts. Let's pay close attention to the 44 here and find out what it is about that outside line that's making it really hard to stay even with the leader and get these restarts smoothed out here. Richard Swavely is going to tuck in behind the leader. He's ready to go. Keep an eye on that outside line in the restart zone. Green flag back out. Something about just the jump there. And we've seen that move happen for the second place quite a bit as well, as Steve Ritter sends it in there deep underneath Glenn Campbell. But typically, no matter what, second place cannot get it sorted out. And typically loses that spot, and it's been between Campbell and Swavely here. And now the top five single filed out. Troy Haight sitting in that P6 position. Brian Workman, Cody DeForge. Kevin Stone back here, all battling in this up in the top 10. A little bit of a side-by-side battle back there. That's, who is that? It looks like it's Alan Wild. Shannon Woods back here as well on the outside. Eli Raposa has got Alan Marshall back here. As everybody's just jockeying for a little bit of position. It looks like everybody's gotten mostly spread out. There's cautions, obviously breeding cautions here late, but so far, back green here. Coming up with less than 20 to go. Spoke a little too soon. Looking for it here on the track. May have been Robert Van Nest. I don't know. I didn't quite see who went around here. Let's take a look. Oh! Scott Formosa tagged the wall, looped it around right in front of the 87. Vincent Short had to make some evasive maneuvers. So did RB Turner. That's going to bring the caution out again. And Lane Phillips continues to be on the point here. Dominant so far in the desert. Lane Phillips continues to lead here. You're watching Turn 1. wouldn't be the desert if action wouldn't heat up here at Phoenix for these drivers of the NC811 Limited Series on turn 1. And, well, we've had a string of cautions here. They are running out of laps. Going to go back, green flag. Oh, goodness. What will we call this? We will call this 13, 14 to go. So, yeah, these can pick up here. Everybody's going to be jockeying for position. But so far, nobody has anything for the 20 truck of Lane Phillips. Green flag back out. And Swavely not able to get the power down on that truck, and he's going to be under pressure from Cable. They all fan out. Although, I will say, this is the closest I've seen Cable to the bumper through turn 2. Half a truck length down right there to the bumper. Swavely's going to move to the inside, trying to cross over Cable. Cable's going to look to the inside. Now a 3-wide battle for the lead. Swavely locks him up. Cable deep to the inside there. That was a wild turn number 3 there, fighting for the lead. Campbell full sent it along with Richard Swavely. Half a truck length, Phillips leads. Campbell's not let him get too far away just yet. Steve Ritter sitting fourth. Montesi's right there. Brian Wortman's having a good night here in the trucks. Just underneath Troy Haight. And the caution's out again. Cody DeForge has got it spun around, coming out of 4 here, and he gets it rolling. Let's take a look what happened coming out of 4 to the start-finish line. That's Alan Marshall getting collected there and got looped around. Not had the night. Ooh, Marshall nearly gets tagged there. But not had the night I'm sure he was hoping to have here tonight at Phoenix. And right now, DeForge is going to restart 20th, Marshall 23rd. And this is what they mean. Again, cautions breed cautions. Everybody's, you know, they know the laps are starting to tick down. They're going to go back green flag with about 8 to go. And they know everybody's trying to get all the positions they possibly can before shutting her down here tonight. Lane Phillips out front, and I don't know if I'm the 20 truck. I've led a bunch of laps tonight. I've carried 1.2 second leads for dozens of laps, and now all of a sudden these cautions are giving the 44 an opportunity to get up here. If the 44 gets inside of the 20, I would not be surprised if Glenn Campbell doesn't try to make some hay here. He is not going to lift. Let's just put it that way. Campbell, I have seen nothing but respectful driving out of that driver for the year or so now that I've been calling races with him in it. Obviously, well respected it, I feel like. But, you know, racing is racing. And if he gets to the inside, he's not going to lift, especially with, you know, 5 to go. He's not going to give up the space. He's not going to make room, especially going off into 1 and 2. So that'll be something we have to pay close attention to. But now he's going to be in that position we've been talking about, that outside line. At no point tonight has the outside on a restart worked at all. As a matter of fact, the second place driver has lost that position. I'm going to say nearly every restart to the third place driver, just because of the nature of how it is. And Swavely is going to be in the prime spot. He's going to be right behind the 20. As soon as he sees that 20 truck go, he is going to be able to mat it and be right underneath the 44 before it's all said and done. So we'll see how this all shakes out as the pace car lights are going to go off. And we will be going green flag racing with 8 or 7 to go. I think it's going to be 8 to go. And man, it's we thought we had saw some decisions in the rear that were questionable. Well, we can see it again here because these drivers are getting ready to go. And they know they don't got a whole lot of laps to do it. These tires are not super old. They've had a lot of caution on them. They've been heat cycled a couple times, but for the most part, you know, maybe 15 green flag laps of racing on them. So you've got some right front, you got a little bit of right rear, and you got some gears, and you're about to use them. Phillips, Campbell, Swavely, Ritter, Montesi, Wortman, Haight, Schrader, Stone, and Jatina, your top 10. Into the restart zone, the 20 truck rolls. Green flag out, bad start for even Richard Swavely there. He did not get moving. Campbell's actually going to lose several spots on this restart here. Phillips out front, 2 truck lengths. Top 5 single filed out. Haight, Wortman, Stone, Wild, Schrader. A little tight back here with Jatina. That's Eli Raposa, Johnny Barker. 2 and 3 wide battle back here. You're not missing anything up front. We got trucks in the wall, trucks sideways. Jatina. And who is that? I believe that's Raposa. It is. No caution, though. Green flag stays out. Phillips up front. He's going to have to run up. Wow, way up into the high line. Dealing with some lap traffic. That throws you off if you're a driver having to go way out there. Swavely wanted them to have a little bit more of an issue with that, but Phillips handling it like a pro. Like somebody that wants to bring home a checkered flag, and he's 5 laps away from getting it done here at Phoenix. Montesi and Ritter side by side. This is for 4th. Ritter looking to move forward.
The yellow flag is out.
And the caution's out. Johnny Barker sideways across the racetrack, the 6th there. He's got it woed up, waiting for everybody to go by. Let's go back here and find out what brought up this caution. Barker on the inside. Oh! Just got clipped there. The nose taking off that machine, and really not of his doing there. That's going to bring another caution out here tonight. Phillips, well, he's going to have to fend it off again. And we're going to go to NASCAR overtime. We'll talk more about that, what overtime entails. And we'll see if Lane Phillips can make the magic happen at least one more time on a restart. You're watching the NC811 Limited Series here on Turn 1. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing, and it's going to be a NASCAR overtime, I do believe. Yeah, NASCAR overtime. They're going to have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered here. They're going to see the green flag. If they can make it all the way back around before the caution come out, they'll get the white flag and it'll be over. If the caution were to come out, though, prior to seeing the white, we will re-rack it and try to get a green flag finish in the books here from this crew. So we'll have to pay close attention. Up front, Swavely alongside Lane Phillips. Green flag back out, overtime in effect. We got trucks spinning back there. It's going to be another caution. That was the strongest restart I have seen out of that outside line that was led by Swavely. That's going to put him in keep him in that P2 position. What a move there out of the 32. Again, one of the stronger restarts I have seen out of somebody, and it looks like I take that back. I don't think we're going to see a green-white checkered. I believe we just got the white flag. Let's see if this is going to happen. That may have been our only opportunity. Let's see how this all shakes out. White flag showing waved, but we'll see how this all plays out. Again, Phillips, just a dominant night here tonight. I was doing some reflecting. I am fairly certain he's led but maybe 2 laps here this evening, so well over 100 laps in the books. Even if he were to not win tonight, a dominant performance here out of Lane Phillips, and it really just shows you the speed he's got there, and an impressive run for him on the point. As they come across the start-finish line here, we'll see what the flag man has to say for us. And that's the checkered flag. That's going to be it. Lane Phillips going to be scored. Your winner here tonight, Richard Swavely, Glenn Campbell, your top 3, Montesi, Ritter, Haight, Kevin Stoll, Brandon Garan, Brian Workman with a 9th place finish, Alan Wild, the top 10. Joshua Barr, Robert Chappell, the 87 truck going to finish 12th here. Cody DeForge, Alan Marshall, Joey Jatina is going to recover to a 15th place finish. And they're still wrecking during the post race. We're going to step aside. We'll get ready to talk with our winner here, Lane Phillips at Phoenix. You're watching Turn 1. A wild one in the books here tonight in Phoenix. We'll quickly talk to race winner Lane Phillips. Lane, congratulations, a dominating performance here on that 20 truck tonight. What about Phoenix for you just connects? You made it look just absolutely easy here tonight with this NC811 limited field.
Yeah, this is probably top 5 of my favorite tracks. I don't know why. I just coming up with a dirt background, it just kind of feels, not saying it drives like a dirt track, but it just fits my driving style. It's a driver's track. You gotta be on your P's and Q's every lap, and I mean the let off points are just, you gotta, what's good for you, and I always figured out that I let up just a little bit more than everybody in 3 and 4, and I get the run off. But yeah, man, it was a good race. First time back since 500, and I don't know how long, and top it off, lead every lap. That's pretty cool, man.
It certainly is, and you know, we saw tonight the pit stops kind of work out. I was talking about right before we saw the 14 come down pit road and a couple others there around lap 53 or so. The lap time, the fall off on these tires was about 2 seconds, or a little bit, or right at 2 seconds over about a 40 to 50 lap run. Was there any concern with you to see some of these drivers maybe come down earlier and short pit you, and what that could mean to lap time and getting around here? Did you come in tonight with a strategy in mind from a tire perspective, or was it just really kind of run it as it fell to you?
I don't know. This is actually, to be honest with you, first race in a truck in probably 4 or 5 months. I've been running next gens, and just taking what I've learned from them over the season I've been running in a different league is tire wear's not as bad as it used to be. You can still get the truck to do what you want it to, and I knew if we had a long green flag run, like we did, that the guys, I knew somebody's gonna try to short pit, but I've raced with Joe for years, and I'm not gonna do anything he's not gonna do on a track. I've learned a lot from him in a different truck league, but I knew that I was gonna run it out of fuel before I come down pit road, just because I just had a feeling there was gonna be some kind of wreck with people coming off and on pit road, but it worked out in our favor. We got I think the spotter popped up and said it had 2 laps of fuel left when that caution come out in my first green flag run, and I knew that it was probably going to be a caution fest after that. That's why I just stayed out. There was no point. Didn't get really any wear on the tires, and it worked out in our favor.
It certainly did. Led all the laps here tonight at Phoenix, and the first race back at Civ 500 in quite a while, bringing home a checkered flag. Leighton Phillips, congratulations. Thank you for the time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Thank you.
And with that, we will quickly talk to Glenn Campbell. Glenn, tonight that 44 truck looked like it was a very fast machine. Obviously, nobody could keep up with that 20 truck. I want to ask you, though, about these restarts. That outside line looked to be a really tough place to be, and you and Richard Swavely swapping it around quite a bit. Walk me through those restarts, especially after the pit stops.
Yeah, Richard and I were talking about that. Whoever started in third had the advantage because he rolled, the leader rolled, and he was using most of the time he was using, I would say, the back half of the box, but you're playing the guessing game. You guess right, you roll with them. And we were, I think Richard did the same thing I did. We gave us plenty of room when somebody else would buy underneath. We weren't going to race each other till the end, but it was just trying to just determine when the 20 truck was going to take off. And you're on the outside line, you just didn't know.
Yeah, it looked like just from a visual standpoint, it was hard to have that look on the inside and then kind of get the cue to go. And then, of course, obviously, by the time you hear it, you're behind the 8-ball. Other than that, the 44 looked quick here tonight. Is this a track that tends to fall to your favor, Phoenix, and places like this? And did you have a thought in mind as to where you could run tonight, and what did that turn into?
I'm average, I tend to burn my stuff up here, and tonight I didn't. I tried a couple different settings in my setup, and I was able to hang. There were certainly faster trucks. All the restarts, it kind of killed the back half of that race, and so I had stuff left to keep up. I got under the lane once under him, and I said, I'm gonna get him, and then if I had time to battle with him, maybe, but he was too good. I mean, there were several trucks that had not good luck and were faster than me for sure.
Yeah, I think at one point, Glenn, there towards the end, I think it was right when you were underneath them that first time, and then we got another restart. I said explicitly that the 44, as long as I've seen him running, has always been respected and a very clean driver. But he's gonna lose the patience. He's gonna push it in there a little deep one time, see what happens. And I was expecting that to come, but it never fell that way. Finally here, coming down the pipe for Thursday nights, any tracks on the calendar you're excited to get to and could scratch off a win here?
I like them all. I mean, I don't have any one particular favorite. I do favor Darlington. I don't know if we're going there, but I'll take them as they come. Just try to stay in the top 5, good points, see where we end up in the end of the year.
Another great point night for Glenn Campbell here, sitting third at Phoenix. Glenn, thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate the broadcast.
Absolutely. And then we'll quickly talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Richard Swavely. Richard, congratulations. A hard-fought second-place finish here. I know that's not where you wanted to be. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Glenn. Those restarts on that outside line looked really tough here tonight. In retrospect, anything you could have done differently to hang on? It looks like you and the 44 were swapping back and forth quite a bit there.
Yeah, just the restarts, especially here, the second place is actually pretty stout disadvantage on restarts. But no, this we've kind of learned how I race around here. I'm kind of more long run guy, and once that flurry of cautions came out at the end there, I just couldn't get the truck wound up enough to try to battle lane. That last lap, I was debating on doing the Larson line and hug the inside wall through 1 and 2 and see if it was going to stick, but didn't get the chance.
We saw obviously that dog leg not be a super big advantage down the front stretch tonight. Obviously a couple drivers trying it out really deep down in there. Was there any grip to be found down there, or quarter entry speed off into one down there, or really was it more about just going somewhere where somebody wasn't here tonight at Phoenix?
For me, I know the first run, I felt like I was saving a little bit of tires if I didn't go down there. That could have just been anecdotal, just with a better natural line into one, but I didn't really see too much about it. Like, I'd go up there and try it a couple times, and I think I'd just lose more time just because people at the shorter distance around the racetrack, but it wasn't too bad. Like, the biggest thing is rolling turns 1 and 2. That's where you make the most time at this track.
Finally, here, Richard, I'll ask you the same thing I was talking to Lane about. Short pitting was certainly something that could play a factor in tonight's results, especially if we had a longer green flag run there. We saw Joey Jatina come down pit road, I think around lap 53, and then that caution came out on, I believe, 56 or so. Did that ever cross your mind? I know Lane mentioned he was going to run it out of gas before coming down, but that nearly 2-second tire delta had to be tempting.
About halfway through the first run, I noticed that fuel was really close, and I was, I don't know if it showed up and how I was driving the broadcast, but I started saving a lot of fuel to see if maybe not, instead of saving just one lap, saving like 1 or 2 over past halfway. So then I could have just manhandle the car for the second half of the race. And I was keeping somewhat in touch with Lane and Joe when that happened. Then I won the drag race off pit road at the pit stop and sat in second for the indescribable amount of cautions.
Yeah, those cautions certainly tough there at the end. Well, listen, another solid result here tonight. Coming up P2. I think that was just your dice roll there on the restarts between you and the 44 who's going to finish second and third. And obviously looking down the pipe here, any tracks you're looking forward to over the next couple weeks?
I actually do. I for once actually have the schedule brought up. Absolutely not looking forward to Talladega. I have been noted many times that I think that the super speedways need to be filled with water and stocked with bass.
I've heard you say that, yeah.
Yes. Nashville Super Speedway, that's a track I really like. And Dover, Dover's, I call that my home track, if you will, because that's that's circled with the big Sharpie on the calendar whenever I see Dover lined up. Darlington, that's later on in the season, but yeah, I like I said, I like the oddball tracks that you have to actually, where aero is not quite as big of a deal and you actually have to drive the truck.
Well, a wheel man he is. Richard Swavely able to bring home here a top 3 at Phoenix after what was a very interesting second half of the race. Richard, congratulations on a top 3 here. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon, and I'll get my official poll ready for Talladega, rather.
All right, thank you, and also big shout out to Heavy's Audio. That's my headset I use, and if you're looking for a good music listening and gaming headset, check out Heavy's.
There you go. There we go. Appreciate it, Richard. We'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Richard Swavely here, bringing home second place at Phoenix, and that's going to wrap up race coverage here for a Thursday night. Again, let's recap where we're going to be Monday. That's right here at Turn 1, because, we're going to go Daytona 500 racing with Sim 500 and the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. You're not going to want to miss a single lap of that racing action. It's going to be a blast. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Vince. We're going to sign off for the evening. We'll see you Monday for more racing action. Good night, everybody.